Well, today I'm with my friend Pablo Molina. He's the CEO and co-founder of InfiniteWatch.ai. And InfiniteWatch is the observability layer that makes the agentic internet trustworthy, scalable, and ready for prime time. So, Pablo, it's great to have you today.
Hey, Walter, it's great to be here. Thank you. Thank you for hosting us.
So, let's get into the problem that you're solving. What's the biggest pain point out there that you guys are addressing?
Yes. So what we're addressing is the lack of visibility of the customer interactions across the different channels that companies have today, and also the time that is spent to understand behaviors. Okay, what that means is that companies mid-size and up, they have different channels where customers come through. One is, they have online web journeys to buy stuff, to search for the products. They also using phone calls, calling them customer support, but also to close a sale and email messaging, chatbots, SMS, WhatsApp, whatever. No? So what happens is that companies, they have different tooling depending on the channel here and there. Not only different tooling, but also different teams, that are analyzing because of their expertise, their skill set. So there's people in operations taking care of those phone calls in call centers. And there's people, product engineering, taking care of web. So we come from there and we know that what it is, and we suffer that pain point. And yeah, not only that, but when it comes to, for instance, phone calls, we've recently hearing that people, there are companies that are, launching AI voice agents, and we want to help companies to do that as well, deploying those agents as well. And they have people, humans, listening to the agents at the phone just to understand and to test and monitor how they're doing. So yeah, there is this pain point there that we want to solve for.
Got it. So right now, humans are too much in the loop on this one, right? So the future of the internet is agents. You're only going to be interacting with agents when you're on the web, typically. So why not have also the agents be the ones who monitor, track, and make suggestions for you rather than humans?
So you name it, Walter, and that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, yeah,
So
got
what we're doing is, yeah, first of all, we monitor all channels.
right,
So we
right.
tear down those silos. Okay, so we are basically, monitoring all the interactions on web, not just clicks or what people fill something in forms, but we also, monitoring mouse moves, scroll, everything,
Hmm.
right? So we get that
Hmm.
information. We also get what's happening on the phone. Okay, and then we got the audio, transcription, all that stuff. Also, messages that they come through. And what we bring in that's make that special is an AI native solution.
Yeah.
So what we do is a semantic analysis of what's happening. So imagine that, in the case of the phone calls, that's probably the most clear to understand. It's not about keywords matching or something like that. It is about really understanding semantically what happened on that call to then understand why a user that called to cancel a service ended up agreeing on an offer to stay. And that is something that happens when the call is understood, like what we've been doing as humans. Now we're bringing AI to do that, and we do it across channel so that we understand all the behaviors of all the interactions, and we bring in this for companies. So that's a solution, and why we think that is unique,
Yeah, yeah.
to
Okay, cool. So how is AI better? I know it's a huge time savings. How is AI better at analyzing those channels?
So look, getting back to that to that voice example, and it happens the same with conversations, with WhatsApp or email. It is about, again, to understand like the whole thread, not even with one call, but all calls that happen for a single customer, and then understanding it conceptually to really make get insights and get intelligence out of it, right?
Hmm.
When it comes to the web, what we do is that we pick errors, but we also pick UX fiction, in the sense that there are cases where when you see on the display, when you see on the screen, doesn't really make sense. So I'm coming with one of example of one of those clients that we have live, and what happened for them is that they are an insurtech in New York, okay, and they have this quoting process online where they just request the customer information, and then they end up showing a quote for home insurance. And on that quote on the screen, what you see is a document, a PDF there, and then you see also on the side, on the web itself, you see the information, right? Like this is your quote, these are the conditions, this is the price. So that price in the PDF that was generated and in the web, it was different for the same product. So there was you just giving out an offer, a quote that it tells different numbers in the same screen, no? So when we get that screenshot and we apply computer vision AI, then the AI, the model, really understands and picks it up and raises. Hey, look, you have an issue here because the price and the quote that you're giving is different in the same screen. So that is something that you're going to be doing without the AI in the past, no?
Yeah, got it. And so there's a big real-time aspect to it as well. So it can pick up things in real time, even make suggestions. I heard you talk about the browser agent, right? So there's a companion to the browser that can kind of see that you're struggling as a viewer or as a customer on the website, and it can kind of help you out. Is that right?
That is right. So we have that agent that is called CoBrowser. That's our agent number six,
Hmm.
and like that. And then that is an assistant that you have on site, and we give that for companies. So companies could deploy that agent, and then not only will have a knowledge base of the static information of the company, who the company is, what the service provide, how do you want the agent to really communicate, what's the tone. Yeah, that everyone does that. Also, it will pick information dynamic from that customer, from the CRM, but everyone does that. What we're doing is we are adding a new layer of a new source of information, which is what the user sees on the screen. So we're basically using the same technology that for other agents, like the one that monitors the web. So we understand what's in the screen at that moment, and then we bring that as context to that co-browsing agent, so that the assistant can then guide the user in the web and then first of all, explain what's going on. I mean, hey, I saw you that you started the journey here, and I saw you that you just introduced your data in this form. And now, how can I help you next? No? And then
Hmm.
it is a very close and very personalized assistant that we call co-browser, right? Yeah, and then there are companies that see this as a perfect solution for tools that they need onboarding for, that they've done through training for people to learn how to use the tool, but the most effective thing is that you have that trainer always with you, and that is that co-browser, because it will be your companion, as you mentioned, and it will be with you, guiding you wherever you are on that tool. Not only understanding the manual, the same training source that the people got, but also exactly where you are on the screen. And yeah, that's 24/7. And
Hmm.
by the way, I'm telling too much, but it's important. We're doing this not just text. We're doing this with audio. So that browser, that co-browser is talking to you as a human. It's nice when you have a conversation. Okay.
That's cool. Let's talk about simulation. So pre-production use of your product. How do people use it in pre-production?
Pre-production, yes. So that is our agent number two and number four, and those are the agent web simulation, as you mentioned, and the agent voice testing. I mean, both. No? So what we do is that basically with a single prompt, you can make one of our web bots to perform actions on your website. So you have a form where, coming back to this insurer, you expect users to fill out the form and then gets a quote out of that process. And you want it to be seamless and you want to be up and running everything, there's no friction there. Then you can use our solution where you just say, hey, fill out this form, try to buy an online home insurance, and then it will find a way and will fill up that form for you and complete the process. And then you can schedule it and then run it, whether you run it in production, like on a recurring basis, or you do it as we recommend, like pre-production, just to make sure that everything is working before deploying. No? The
Hmm.
same thing with voice agents. When you are deploying voice agents, and then you're basically following a similar process to product and technology development, where you want to test first. So you just set up the agent, you configure what models the agent is going to be using for talking, transcribing, or reasoning. And then once that's set up behind a phone, then you have our agents that will be calling or receiving calls with instructions and the expected result. And then we will show metrics on how that agent is performing. Okay. So this
Cool.
is important for experimentation, for continuous iteration, and yeah, and we use it ourselves whenever we deploy our own agents as a best practice. Okay.
Perfect. What about deployment models?
So yeah, deployment models, those are effectively, that's agent number five. This is effectively us deploying the agents for
Hmm.
companies that are interested on that, right? So we're talking about voice in this case, but we recently started also doing it for conversational models that can reply to emails or chat. So it is us as Infinite Watch. In this case, we're doing that for insurers. We're also doing it for fintech companies. And yeah, that means customer support, but also supporting sales processes. That means deploying agents where we deploy them behind phone numbers or those are clickable on the web. And then it is us setting them up, monitoring, and iterating on them and improving as company demands, right? So yeah, that's the deployment.
Cool. Well, talking about different customers and everything, who's the ideal customer profile for you guys?
So the ideal customer profile are those that have enough volume to really need these monitoring tools, and that also multi-channel, of course, because yeah, you have the web, as I mentioned, but you also have phone, and then you have conversational interface. So, and then those that have those journeys, for instance, that start online, but then eventually they go offline, like on the phone, because people insurance, for instance, is a very good example because people need to understand the product. There are some things that insurance people don't know about, well, consumers, right, or even companies, and then they call just to understand what they're buying for. And when the ticket is high enough, people will also do the same, right? To understand whether that thing is it really has that cost, is that pricey, or we can negotiate a bit. So these are the ones that we are likely targeted to. And when it comes to industries, we started, as I mentioned, with insurance and fintech, but we're also looking at travel because that's another one that is very transactional on the online. We're using an e-commerce because that's mainly the really to have a bulletproof online journey so that they can transact, users can transact there. And telcos, that they have a large call centers and a lot of requests, at the phone that we can really provide visibility on, and also deploy those agents for these companies to really scale. No? So
Hmm.
right now, yeah, it's kind of broad, and we just starting with some of those, but yeah, targeting those all, let's say.
Nice. I saw some quotes on your website about like 40% improvement, like some statistics. What are some of the gains that the customers are reporting so far? Like an ideal, not an ideal customer, but one of your customer success stories. What kind of gains did they talk about?
Yes. So the first one is, I mean, let's start with this insurance company in New York because the story is pretty good. Yeah, what they had is that they have this quoting journey where at some point customers are trying to find their address, and there is this autocomplete address used, Google behind the scenes, but sometimes it doesn't do a good job because I mean that the solution that they had is not picking the number of the street, or the postcode is not the standard postcode. So yeah, that generated friction for customers. And then when they deployed our tool and then they saw that in their web on the journey, actually after an alert that was received from InfiniteWatch, then they started to work on a fix that they had live like in weeks time, and they reported on that specific step a 30% gain on conversion. Okay, so yeah, that's the first one that we're really proud of,
Hmm.
that we got. There are many others, but yeah, that's the one that I have top of mind because yeah, that was the first one, and there's kind of an attachment on this one, right?
Cool. So if people want to engage and learn more, how should they do that?
Sure. Thank you. So look, so yeah, I would say that first of all, we have our web homepage, InfiniteWatch.ai. Just get there. You can find and understand better those agents that I mentioned with numbers and names. They find a demo. They can do those demos online. And yeah, there's a way also to book time with me and the founders, my co-founders. So that's great if I can talk to people and then receive feedback, and also can help companies with this. And also, yeah, I guess in LinkedIn, I mean, if people can find me there, Pablo Molina, LinkedIn,
Hmm.
InfiniteWatch. Glad and very, very happy to talk and to meet people interested. Sure. Thank you, Walter.
Amazing. Well, Pablo, it's been really cool learning about your solution at Infinite Watch, and I look forward to watching the company growth and people adopting the product and seeing your success.
Thank you, Walter. It was a pleasure. Thank you for hosting us.
Likewise.
Keep it